how would you describe the impact that your business degree had? You know, you were just mentioning kind of lifting the company to heights, unbelievable heights. Yeah. How would you define, what was your vision and why was it able to happen and come to fruition?
Well, I didn't really, I mean, you know, the last place I thought I'd work was at Duck Commander. I grew up doing that, and I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going to do something different. And so went off. I actually ran a little Christian camp that my wife's parents had started, and that's where they worked. So I did that through my 20s and didn't have much money, but, you know, was enjoying life and raising my kids. And then so I kind of came back to it, and I kind of looked at it from afar. So I was able to look at Duck Commander, and I saw Phil, and I was like, man, he's got this passion. I think you know, we need to connect the dots. And so came back and asked Dad. I said, hey, I think I can, you know, maybe, you know, help out at the company. And so I think for the first 8 months, I cleaned Mom's yard and did stuff. Like that was my job. And then, so over time, I started getting more and more involved in it and did really every aspect of it. And so, you know, I came to Dad. I said, hey, I think we need a website. And Phil's like, website? He said, hey, Will, tell them if they want to buy a duck call, pick up the phone. I said, well, Dad, I think they're going to be buying products online. He said, that's a crazy idea. If you think it'll work, you know. And so I started all these new crazy ideas, you know, which is a website and, you know, and I was able to talk to the customers. And, we just started growing it. And then reality TV was, you know, becoming a thing. And none of us watched reality TV except my wife. And my wife says, y'all need to do a show. And I said, well, I don't think do we do anything like, you know, crazy interesting? And she goes, oh, y'all are not normal. You're not normal.
Just talking. All y'all got to do is talk, have a conversation.
Yeah. And so she saw that. And then we were approached by Benelli Shotguns and said, hey, let's do a show on the Outdoor Channel. We'll pay for everything. And, so I went to Dad, hey, they want to do this show. And Dad's like, it's a terrible idea. And I'm like, well, we could try. Maybe we'll sell more duck calls. And we did. It was successful. And then out of the blue, I get this email from a guy in Hollywood. He said, hey, man, I've seen your show. I think y'all got a really big show. And he, you know, and so I went to Dad again. I said, Dad, now they think we have a big show. And he's like, oh, this will never work. Nobody's going to watch it. And I said, well, let's try it. And I guess the rest is history. So Phil would say he's pleased to say that he was wrong, but in the right way. So and then we took off, and man, it was a wild ride for sure.
Why didn't you want to work at Duck Commander? Were you one of them hard ass sons who was like, I ain't gonna take over Dad's business. I'm gonna go do it myself?
I really just didn't see it, Marty. I didn't see an opportunity. There was only a few people that worked. There wasn't like there was not a lot of money. And Dad was so passionate as far as ducks. I was like, you ain't gonna ever out duck that guy, you know. I mean, he's like, yeah. So I just didn't see an opportunity really in that, and just didn't, you know. I always thought duck calls were really hard to sell. I was like, man, I wish he'd have come up with like something with toilet paper or matches. Yeah, that's a specific item.
You'd have made a mint during COVID with the Duck Dynasty toilet paper.
Oh, tell me about it. Even when the show started, we had a meeting, and so it came up about duck calls, and we said, do you think we should make more duck calls and have some? And I said, and it was me and my brother. I said, no, we're not. Nobody's going to buy any duck calls, you know, even from a TV show. My wife said, I think they're going to buy duck calls. And did they ever buy duck calls? Everybody wanted a duck call. We were running 24 hours a day trying to make all those calls and get them out there. And I'm assuming most of those people weren't duck hunters. They just wanted a little piece of the company. And so, it was crazy, but I just growing up, I thought I didn't know what I was going to do. And so, but I thought, ain't no way I'm going to stay here. And so, but as it turned out, I did.
What is the challenge? So I got 3 children. I got a 16-year-old son and 12 and 9-year-old daughters. You're a dad. You got a bunch of youngins. Mm-hmm. What's the challenge of raising children in the middle of the tsunami of all that fame?
Yeah, that was difficult. We had talked before about how, you know, most everything that my kids did or are doing, I've done. I've got experience in that. You know, went to college, had children, graduated, jobs, all this kind of thing I've done. The only thing I hadn't done that they were in was actually be famous at a young age. And so I had no experience with that. And so that was, it was tough. There were aspects of it that's tough. Even even still, like as we talk to our kids as they get older, we're still going through that, man, it was difficult here. Like, Sadie had a tough time because she went on to Dance with the Stars at 17, I believe. And she's still in high school. And so, oh man, she played basketball, and it was just tough, like the fans would just get on her, and, they'd have just say ugly things. And then like they would lose a game, they were all in there crying, then they come out and there's 20 people wanting a photo, and so it was tough. But, there was a lot of good as well. She took that and made that platform, and then, she has more businesses than I have now, and so she was able to use that. And so it was really tough. And so we just had to, again, stay grounded, stay where we are. We're in the same school, same town. Fortunately, we didn't have to move, it wasn't like we had to live in LA or New York. We were able to stay home and be around the people that we grew up with. And so, yeah, I mean, they could, they took that, and, overall, I think they did well with it. And, they were able to, capitalize on some of the aspects of it. And it was tough for John Luke. John Luke went to college, and he was like, Dad, I felt like everybody was just staring at me.
Fishbowl.
So, yeah, it's just, and so that's tough when you're 18 years old. And again, that's something, obviously I didn't have that experience. And so, but we were all kind of, again, in it together. And so, made it through.